Roster Rescue is back. Our first ever evening episode of Roster Rescue. It is also our first ever episode with the great, the legendary Rich Dotson. Rich, how you doing, my guy?
Tired.
He's like sleepy.
Yeah, I got doing these late night episodes after doing 3.5 hours of podcasting yesterday. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what we have cooking in the lab over here on these roster rescue shows. So pretty dope to see what we're gonna be doing here, talking about other people's rosters and what we can do to help them out to make their steps to the ships one step closer, right? Like that's what we do here at Dynasty Nerds. Like everything we do is just try to make, we talk for a living to help people out, to give them information, to help them get closer to ships. So I'm excited to see what we're going to do here, looking at actual people's real rosters outside the vacuum and inside it.
Yep.
So we're inside the Hoover. Is that
That's
it?
right.
The Hoovers are the vacuums, right?
Hoovers are vacuums. Yeah, you got Dysons and Hoovers.
That's right. Dysons. That's another big one.
Pete, how you doing, homie? Oh, Pete, you're muted.
Gotcha.
You're muted.
I'm not. I'm doing great.
Dear
This
Lord.
guy.
I'm doing awesome. Apparently, I am super loud in Rich's headset, by the way. So that's why he just looked like he got shot.
It'll be 50% Helen Keller over here doing the show.
All right. Well, if you're not familiar with the show, we do a lot of different things. We go over trades. We review your rosters. If you're like, hey, I want to get my roster looked at, I want to get my roster reviewed, you can go ahead and scan the submit a question right there. That is your way to get it done. But there is a few different levels. There's the trade off air level. There's the trade on air level. There's the roster review. And then, Pete, what's the last one?
Ooh.
That's right. The last one is a nuke button. That means screw whatever you're talking about. I want my team to be talked about right now, first and foremost. And that's what we have right here. This is our guy. It says Brad, but I think this is Jesse, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it says Brad on my screen.
Brad, I think you're looking at the wrong notes.
I'm talking about the screen at the on the screen itself. So it's Roster Rescue Brad.
It does say Roster Rescue Brad.
It does.
It doesn't on my screen.
Try it again. There we
There you
go.
go.
Jesse's Roster Rescue nuke button 1 QB PPR. Let's look at his team here in dynasty mode. The Breece Pieces are in third place. Pete, what are they in dynasty mode? Or in contender mode? Contender mode, they are in 10th. So we've got a team that's got some assets, but maybe not really looking to win this year. So let's go back to the dynasty mode. And we've got Jaden Daniels as the starting quarterback in a 1 QB. I already know Rich is getting excited over there with that. Backing him up, Bryce Young, Justin Fields. We've got Breece Hall, J.K. Dobbins, Braylon Allen at running back. Wide receiver, Marvin Harrison, Drake London, Jamison Williams, Ricky Pearsall, and Cedric Tillman. Kyle Pitts, we've got or tight ends, we've got Kyle Pitts, Noah Gray, and Chigo Conquo. But we have the 101, the 105, the 202, and the 205. Now, Rich, I'm going to hand this over to you to start. If you're this team and you are third in dynasty mode, you've got some assets, got the 101, you've got the 105, you've got a good young quarterback, even though it's 1 QB. What are you doing with this team here specifically? What are you doing in order to try to make this team the best team it could be?
Yeah, so just, I mean, when you're, obviously for all leagues that I'm in, I know I was talking to you last night about, like, I'm always just trying to get better, right? And just like, I'm always trying to see how, like the main question for any show that I ever do for anything or any way to play Dynasty is like, how do I win a championship? Like, that's it. That's it. That is the goal. You know what I mean? Like, it's that's what I'm focused on. And, trading is where it's at. And obviously when you look at this team and you put it in Dynasty mode, he's Dynasty team 3. And he's inflated because he has so much draft capital. Like it's going to push him up there. So, when I'm looking at my team, I log into the League Analyzer, which is my favorite thing to look at in all of Dynasty. I mean, I was in that last night. I went in every league I was in, and I sent trade offers for that strategy I was telling you about.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to
keep it secret for now.
And, I worked in 4 leagues. I was pretty pumped. And,
nice.
So when you look at here and you're in Dynasty mode, you're looking at it. You're like, okay, I have my number one strength here is like I have a lot of draft capital. Okay. So am I in position to, am I rebuilding or am I ready to take that step forward? Right. Cause that's what I'm looking at. When you look at his team, he has Jaden Daniels, which is arguably QB1 overall in Dynasty. Him, if you want to argue Lamar, Josh Allen's going to be most people's number one. For me personally, I'll take Jaden Daniels in Dynasty. And then he's got Justin Fields and Bryce Young, which I'm totally comfortable in a 1 QB league. It doesn't really matter. If I have Jaden Daniels, I'm good. His glaring weakness here is obviously at running back. He's got Breece Hall, and that's it. Because J.K. Dobbins isn't even on a roster. I expect him to be on a roster at some point, but
correct.
Again, there's no guarantee. As good as J.K. Dobbins looked last year, there's no guarantee. Just for the simple fact is all these other running backs have signed besides him and Nick Chubb, and it's such a deep class. And where's J.K. Dobbins going to fit on a roster, which is going to really tell us how he's going to contribute to your dynasty roster. Now, that's not a major concern because he's got 1-1 and 1-5. So I'm immediately looking at this. He's got Breece Hall and J.K. Dobbins. And that receiver, he's got Drake London, who was a top 6 fantasy receiver last year. He's got Marvin Harrison, who, obviously scored way more on the rookie yard spectrum there over the 500 yards. Jameson Williams, Ricky Pearsall, Kyle Pitts. So he's got, when I look at this team, I see I've got 3 things. Because when I want to contend, okay, when you look at your roster, you just don't look at your roster and say, oh, I'm ready to contend. That's not how it works. It doesn't matter what your roster looks like. You got to look at the guys that are ahead of you. So in contender mode, we look at the top 2 teams. The number 2 team actually looks like it's the best team, in my opinion, in contender mode. But it goes, okay, what do I have to do to beat these teams, right? It's not about what my roster is, what my draft picks is. If I'm ready to win, I put that bad boy in contender mode, and that's going to tell me right away, where am I at in my league? Because I can have a really good team, and you can have a team that's in your league that's so gross because they made so many good trades, and they had all the 2024 class, and they're just impossible to beat. And you're like, well, I can't beat that team ready. I need to pivot there. But look at the 2 teams here in this league, Garrett. I think these are 2 teams, with the right moves, I think Breece's pieces could kind of put himself in a little contender cup here. We're gonna change on the street corner. Say, hey, put a couple championships in this cup for me, buddy.
I think you're right. And let's do a little exercise. Pete, do we want to move to the mock draft tool real quick? Utilize that. Let's see. Let's do a quick mock with his picks, because that'll tell us real quick what this team could potentially look like. Obviously, as this loads, we know the 101. We're taking Ashton Genty no matter what, right, Rich? That's slam dunk.
I don't care if this was IDP heavy league. I don't care if it's 3 super flex league. Yeah, I'm taking Ashton Genty 1-1.
Ashton Genty 1-1. Yeah. All right, so we're good to go there.
Supermodel.
We might be having a technical difficulty. We might just have to do the mock on our own this time. Things like that happen from time to time. But with that, 105 for Rich. We're probably looking at 105. We think we're going to have a couple running backs probably gone by then. I'm guessing Hampton and Travion both gone by 105.
I would imagine so. I mean, you're going to get the
one QB.
Yeah, you're going to get the Ted McMillan fans. You're going to get, the Luther Burden fans there. So that would be the dream scenario, is 2 of those receivers go ahead of you. But most likely, we have to expect that those guys are going to be gone. So it's going to put you really in the Cam Scattaboo territory, the Dylan Sampson. But
Quinshawn, maybe. Quinshawn, though, could be there if one receiver goes.
Yeah, you're right. Quinshawn could be there. Because I'm definitely attacking running back for this team. That's where I am going with this team, because you need it. Again, what do I have to do to compete now? If I'm going to throw my ring in the hat, and listen, once you add Ashton Genty in this team, it's gonna escalate it a little bit with 1-5, and he's got 3 big it's when you're and Mario Brothers, and you're about to hit that box. Like, what are you gonna get? Because he's got Marvin Harrison, Breece Hall, and Kyle Pitts. Those are like three massive upside players that could really, like, if all three of those guys hit, he can win a championship with Ashton Genty in that starting lineup. But like, at the same time, if anything goes a little bit sideways, I mean, if Marvin Harrison's just like mid-range wide receiver 2, I don't know if Jameson Williams is enough to get him there. I don't know if Ricky Pearsall is enough to get him there. So like, with this team, what I'm looking to do is okay, if I'm going to take that step, which is I'm totally comfortable with this team taking that step forward with what he has now. And I want to live in that moment. Like, I have a true number one. I'm going to have a true number one, Ashton Genty. Breece definitely could be that true number one. I am looking to capitalize on those 2026 picks. And I'm going to look to move those, right? Because do we know who one of the other picks is? Does it say who those picks are?
Go ahead and scroll down a little bit there, Pete, for us. We do have an extra 26 first. That's Neighbors Thinks I'm Selling Dope.
Okay, and where are they at in contender mode? Do we see them real quick?
They're in third, so they're one of the better teams.
So you're talking late third. So you want those to be too late first anyways. And Garrett, like, you just did your 2026 early mock draft. It doesn't look like a strong class. And so what I'm immediately doing is I'm trying to, I'm going to try and first off and use 2-2 in one of those first and like elevate me back into this draft, right? And
would you consider instead of moving up into the draft, because let's pretend we're in the scenario, Ashton Genty, Quinshon Judkins. We added both of those guys via the draft to our roster. We feel really good about that. Yeah. Now we have 3 running backs that we really like in Breece Hall, and then and Ashton Genty, Quinshon Judkins, and maybe we get lucky and we get something out of JK2, but we're not counting on that. But then we have 2-2 and 2-5. Do we look to maybe pair those and see if there's a veteran receiver on one of these bad teams? Like team 11 and 12, Pete, are there any receivers on those teams? Ladd, you're not going to get Ladd.
But what if you offered, like, I would offer, here's the first offer I would make. I would offer both my 26 first and 2-5 for Ladd McConkey.
I'd be willing to do that. I would definitely be willing to do that. I'll say that. I would definitely be willing to do that. I would also still, like, click 8 and 9. What do they have at receiver? They look like they have a bunch of receivers. Yeah, these are some teams. Like Chris Godwin is one I would love to get. Jalen Waddle is pretty cheap right now. Like, I think we could add some guys there. Who's on number 9, Pete? I don't love Devonta. I'd like Devonta. I'm not sure about Metcalf, but I think like those are some guys there that we might be able to just give like a 26 first for.
Godwin would fall. I mean, you can probably give a Godwin for just a 26 first, which I'd be comfortable doing that if you're going to take that step forward.
Instantly upgrade our wide receiver room quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, going into Godwin's injury last year, you got to remember he was like 0.3 points off of being like wide receiver 1 overall over Jamar Chase. So he was gonna go right back in that role. He'll be Baker's number 1 guy. Everybody's gonna assume it's Mike Evans. It's not. It's gonna be Chris Godwin. He'll be the number 1 PPR guy there. So that's definitely a good move. I would love to like offer Chris Godwin for first. I still think I'd go back to that low end team, because that low end team too at 12, he's got a lot of draft capital anyways. I would love just to see, because I would love to get a young guy if I can, right? Like, okay, yeah, you can give up 1 first for Chris Godwin, which would be probably a 2-year window, or you can give up 2 first, which are going to be later first in a weaker class. And I said I'd have no problem throwing 2-5 in there in a 1 QB league either, if that's what it took to get it done. Preferably, I would like to keep 2-5 and offer my 26 second as well. But again, sometimes it's giving people that instant satisfaction to get into a draft immediately, can put it over the edge. Like, oh, this is a deep class. I already have 2 draft picks. I'll give 2-5. I would love to add Ladd McConkey to his roster, because he already has, he's already got young receivers on top of that. So that gives them, and if he has those 2 young running backs in Genty and Judkins, now his whole team of a core is a young team. Like, everybody's under 26 years old pretty much on this team. So he's got something where now he can work with all the way, like for the 26 draft doesn't even matter for him, because he's ready to go.
Yeah, no, I hear you absolutely there. And definitely agree that that's another route you could go. So I think that works.
It doesn't mean it's going to work. I mean, just because you offer it doesn't mean it's going to go through. But like that's the first one I'd want to offer. I love your idea of getting Chris Godwin as well on there. But I think the main point here for Jesse would have to be is like, okay, you're going to fill those running back holes that you have with the first and fifth pick. Like, I need to, again, if I'm going to go for it, which you should do, like, I'm trying to use those 26 draft capital right now when everybody's in still draft fever, right? Like, just because like rookie fever is still rookie fever. Like, even though like it's this draft class, 26 like picks are still valuable. And I know because I traded 4 of them away yesterday. Like 4 of them away yesterday.
People always want future draft capital.
Yeah. And listen, like Chris Godwin, like you said, somebody's definitely that team where he is, he's probably definitely trying to get off of Chris Godwin right now. So
absolutely, it's
a good way to go. And what's nice about that, Garrett, too, is like if you do that move, you still have another first in your back pocket for in season, like which is always a great thing to have.
And
like
2 seconds
just far off, and the 2 seconds.
Yeah. So there's easily moves in season to be made, and then there's also moves in the off season that can be made too. So
but it's
I think either way.
He also needs like in that second, I'm definitely grabbing probably one of those young tight ends. There in a second, it's gonna be a deep tight end class. So like 2-2,
Elijah Roro, Mason Taylor.
Yeah, I mean Taylor just ran a really good 40 time today. He would have timed out as the second fastest 40 at the combine as pro day today. So I definitely want to add a tight end here. I definitely want to grab a receiver. I mean, you still got you got some like stuff in the background. Yeah, you got Deontay Johnson in the background who hasn't signed yet. You got Cedric Tillman, who before he got that concussion was for like 5 weeks straight a wide receiver 1. We don't know what Cleveland's going to do at the wide receiver position, who they're going to bring back. Remember, Elijah Moore is a free agent. We don't know if he's coming back on that team as well.
Right.
So even if they did add a receiver, he would be the worst case to 3 there. If Michael Wilson's still the number 2 off of Marvin Harrison, but he has Marvin Harrison. I mean, he really just needs Marvin Harrison to step up and be an absolute stud. And then that receiver concern's not as big a concern. And it really puts to have Chris Godwin as your wide receiver 3 would be like, I think he really could compete for a championship.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we'll see what happens with Jameson Williams as well. I mean, that's a guy high upside.
Yep.
So you never know what could happen there. Let's go ahead and do a trade real quick, because I know that we had a trade question from our guy Dane. So Dane gave us a trade question, and he said this is a 3-team trade. Now, I personally love 3-team trades. I think they're super fun to do. You have to it's a fun way to get a little extra creative to try to like pull in different things that you need from different teams and make it work. So here's side A. Side A gets 106, 201, 202, 302, 308, gives up the 101. Side B gets 101, gives up Marvin Harrison Jr., 202 and 302. Side C gets Marvin Harrison Jr., gives up 106, 202, and 308. So if this is you, Rich, what side do you want? Because to me right now, the side that I would probably say I love the least, I don't love the like plethora of picks for the 101. Like I would much rather the 101 in that scenario.
Yeah.
So like
that's the bad end of the deal for sure. Like that's the worst end. Like the best is C, the second best is B, and the worst is A for me pretty easily.
I think so too. B and C are close for me. Like I love Ashton Genty, but I also love Marvin Harrison, and you're getting a little extra on top of Marvin Harrison. So like those two are close. Like B and C got pretty solid deals, I feel like. And I feel like depending on their team needs, they upgraded their squads a good bit. So like I feel like those were solid moves for them. But yeah, A, like realistically, you move down from a truly elite prospect to maybe a range where you're not even getting a tier 2 running back anymore.
Yeah, is this super flex or what?
Yeah, this is super flex tight end premium. So Quinshon could still be there at 1.6.
Yeah, Quinshon, a tight end. I mean, but you're you're giving up somebody who's probably going to have top 2 round startup, same thing that Marvin does for a guy that's going to go in the 5th round, and then a couple guys are going to go in probably the 7th round. Like
right.
It's not the value I would want whatsoever for 1-1 because the player itself, I think, is worth. Again, just imagine having right now who's running back. I mean, dude, honestly, no, don't throw that. Go for running back 6. Try offering Bucky Irvin for something like that. That's what you're going to kind of get, something along those lines, like 1-6 and 2-1, and 2-2's a little bit lot for Bucky, but like I'd see it. A lot of people would be willing to pay for that. But like if you go a step higher and you throw in like even a guy who's like somewhat of a mystery, like Breece Hall with that knee injury, I think Ashton Genty's a little bit more defined, but like it's just not the value there. Marvin Harrison Jr. giving up 1-6 and 2-2 for Marvin Harrison Jr. I would do that in every possible scenario. Like I could do. That's such great value for such a high upside receiver. And again, everybody thinks Marvin Harrison Jr. had this down year last year when he didn't. He had over 900 yards receiving as a rookie. It just wasn't a high end touchdown production wide receiver 1 season. And again, getting Ashton Genty, same thing. Getting Ashton Genty, which is again not a guarantee, not 100% guarantee. Do we think he's 100% guarantee? 99.9% sure. But not guaranteed. That's still really good value. Like those guys really, and not knowing their team structure, they got really good value. And that's what you're always trying to do when you make a trade, right? You're just trying to get really good value and make your team better.
Absolutely. All right, Pete, if I'm correct, we have another nuke. Oh boy, Derek, pork chops, sandwiches. He came in with the nuke button once again. So let's take a look at his roster. Now, the league format here, 12-team super flex. This is half point PPR, but also half point per first down. So this changes the values a little bit for that position. Now, he wrote quite a bit, which I appreciate. I don't want to spend the whole time reading all of it, but here's some notes, basically. There's 2 teams in his league that are really clear favorites, and I think we can kind of see that on this chart here as well. That's just in dynasty mode, but guessing in contender mode, we're going to see that they're clear favorites as well. Talks about a few of the moves where he overpaid, tried to make a push, all this kind of stuff. But basically, a lot of it boils down to this. He says, my current plan is to try to trade away my picks during our rookie draft for anyone that's feeling some rookie fever and that has clear value. If that doesn't happen, I'm planning on going best player available with a focus on landing 2 running backs, a wide receiver, and a quarterback. Would you say I'm on the right course? What would you guys do with this team? So let's take a look at this team here. This is a super flex, half point PPR, and then point per first down. We have Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence as the 2 quarterbacks. So we've only got 2 starters right now. We do not have a third. Running back wise, Travis Etienne, Jalen Wright, Antonio Gibson. Wide receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr., T. Higgins, Stephon Diggs. Then really not much else after that. Dalton Kincaid, Jonnu Smith, Brenton Strange at tight end. And then picks wise, we've got the 105, 106, 112, and the 2-2 this year as far as truly valuable assets. Now, right now, this team is an 8th in dynasty mode. Where are they at in contender mode, Pete?
It can't be high.
Not super high. They are in 10th currently. So this is not a team that is currently competing. So let's head back over to dynasty mode. And with this team, I think we have to I like the thought process. He realizes, I overpaid for some assets and put myself in a bad spot. Like I'm just not in a good spot right now overall. We're good at quarterback. We have some nice top end receivers, but like crazy shallow. And there's some assets at tight end that we do like, but basically nothing at running back. So the biggest concern is no depth at all at receiver and no running backs. So Pete, what are our draft picks again? Can you show those again for us? 105, 106, 112, 22. So he wants to trade a lot of these picks to people that have rookie fever. Now, Rich, I don't know about you. I would have a hard time doing that, even though I understand the thought process. It is a great time to trade rookie picks during your rookie draft because you can capitalize on people maybe overpaying a little bit because they fall in love with a player or a 40 time or whatever. They fall in love with somebody. The problem is for this team, you're going to probably be trading those picks for 2026 picks. And right now, A, the 26th draft does not look good. B, you actually don't own your own first, second, or third in 2026 or 2027. So that's where this gets really tricky, is rebuilding for the future is going to be really hard without your own assets in those years. So, Rich, to me, the first thing I'm trying to do is I am trying desperately to get my own picks back. Is that what you're trying to do as
You
well?
read my mind. The very first thing I'm doing, my number one thing here I'm focused on is how do I get my picks back? Because not only is this team not good, it's not even close to being good. And unfortunately, you're looking at a really strong rookie running back class here. Having 1.5, 1.6, I feel good about because I feel like I could probably get a first round quarterback there in this class. So even though that's his strongest position by means, that doesn't matter. Like he's got to be thinking long term here. The first thing I'm doing is I'm trying to recoup my draft picks, and I'm using the first guy I'm using right out the gates is T. Higgins, like a guy who's never been higher pretty much than wide receiver 14, who will always be second fiddle to Jamar Chase. And I know the contract extension he signed is like pretty much a 1 year, and they could probably trade him after this year, which wouldn't be end of the world, which would probably actually make a lot of sense for him too. Definitely trying to sign Trey Hendrickson. But he's in such rough shape. Like and what do you do? I think this is a question for a lot of dynasty owners. Like, what do you do when you made these kind of moves and it all kind of backfired, where you trade your future draft capital and it doesn't work out and your team's in shambles, right? Like, and you don't own your first round picks. And he doesn't own his first round pick in 26, Garrett, and he doesn't own his first round pick in 2027. And what really sucks is the 2027 class is really good. And another problem here is like T. Higgins isn't getting you 2 firsts. It's not getting you your 26 and 27 first back. So I think the first thing you got to ask, Garrett, is like, what is your number one concern here? Do you want to focus on getting your 27 first back or your 26 first back? Because my first gut tell me is I want my 27 first back.
Yeah, I don't think you're necessarily wrong there. It's definitely a significantly better class that's probably going to net you more high value assets. So I love the T. Higgins call. I think that is somebody that I'm approaching. And since it's in the future, it might work. Now, does the same team have both the guys or both picks? I mean, or is it different teams that own both of these first round picks? Pete, do we know?
What's his team name again?
Downstairs Mixup.
Downstairs
Mixup.
I'm looking right now to see if I can find his.
What's team 11? They have a ton of draft capital.
Side note, everyone, we've had multiple people email us for a roster review, and I have emailed you for more specific information that if you want it on the show, you need to reply to my email.
All right, so reply to Pete if you want to make sure you get the stuff on the show. Also, we are full for roster reviews at this point, right, Pete? We're not doing any more. So no new roster reviews. However, we would still accept nuke buttons. That is one of the perks of the nuke button. So if you want to get your team evaluated, we'll accept a nuke button, but we're not accepting any more roster reviews.
So the worst team in Dynasty mode has his 27 first.
Oof, that ain't good.
It's not. But like I would honestly like I would just and that team like it has Ladd McConkey and it's got Xavier Legette and that's it. So that team's got the worst team's got no 25 first.
Could you potentially do something where you look at this year's draft capital, because that's something that might entice this team because they don't have much draft capital this year, where you take a look at, hey, I'll give you my 106, you give me my 27 first and a second. Would you consider something like that, Rich? Or is that too far down the road?
He's got 112, right?
He has 105, 106, 112, 22.
Yeah, so right now the team that has his 21st, 7 first is they got no 2025 picks, essentially. No first or second round picks, but they got multiple firsts in 27. They have 3 firsts in 27, one's his, and 2 firsts in 26. So I think the first thing I'm offering Garrett is I'm offering him 112 and that second round pick for my 27 first back. That's my first offer.
Should you offer just the 112 first and see if that gets it done? Because moving up 2 years might be enough for somebody if they're not really thinking about it.
Yeah, you know what? Don't come in. You gotta take them out to dinner a little bit. You gotta smooze them. You never know.
But you could give that second if you need to.
Sometimes you go in for a nice friendly kiss at night. Next thing you know, their tongue's in your mouth. And you're just like, well, this is going to be a better night than I anticipated. Welcome. As long as they don't have halitosis. Yeah. So I would definitely offer 112, hey man, saw you don't have any first this year. I would love to get my 27 first back if I could. I'll give you 112 and open the door. And then if he doesn't, like I would offer a second round pick too. Like second round pick.
I'm with you.
Because 112, and I don't care if it's 2-2, your 27 first is going to be so much more valuable than whoever goes there, 100%. So, like, that team is currently, what team is that here? That is the tech support has his first. So, that's the first door I'm knocking down. And like I said earlier, T. Higgins, he's off my roster. Like, he just signed that contract extension. Like, what can I do? Can I get another 27 first? Can I get my first back plus a little something on top, straight up, because it's going to be a very high pick. And even though we know right now that, like, again, we don't know for sure how the 26 class is going to look, right? We didn't know that, Cam Ward was going to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. We didn't know Jaden Daniels was going to win the Heisman the year before and how strong that class was going to be. The fact that, like, if you even get T. Higgins back, if you guys can give T. Higgins for his first back and then get something on top, I don't know who has his team for there, his first will be a pretty high first. So that alone is going to hold value. Like, he can go get that will put him in a position to go get a proven player, maybe a guy that went and get hurt. But like, he's got to, because none of these, like, even like you're taking best player available.
You go back to his team, Pete.
At he has 1.5 and 1.6, right? Like, so you're taking best players available there, but like those are most likely probably gonna be like, I mean, you're probably gonna get like a Luther Burden, which would be fine, and a running back. I wouldn't really focus on tight end.
You don't need it because you got the upside and Strange and Kincaid and those guys, but Tyler Warren
I'm looking for
is going to be
assets.
tempting.
Yeah, but I'm looking to flip. So they get points per first down, right? So running back holds a little bit more value here, and it's a strong running back class. So I would love to flip 1.5 and 1.6 if I can for like proven young receivers. If I could do that, like, listen, because that after you get your first back, like, you just need to start laying down a foundation because running backs are not foundation pieces. They're not. They're the most fluid position on your roster. So like, I'm using those draft picks if I can, if they are running backs or best available, just to try and get like more draft capital and a receiver if I can.
I will also add to this the running backs on our roster currently. Scroll up a tiny bit there, Pete. It's Travis Etienne and Jalen Wright and Antonio Gibson, I'm literally selling every running back I own for whatever I can get because I'm terrified that all of these running backs might be out of a job once the NFL draft hits. Like these are definitely not safe players. So I'm moving them now, even if I have to like add a sweetener on top. I want to get out of these assets that are going to more than likely decline in value. And I'm looking at what other assets are maybe peaking at the moment. Stephon Diggs is a great example of one that might be peaking right now and maybe your last chance to get out. I don't want to wait and see what happens during the season. Right now, there is excitement because he is the only receiver on the Patriots worth noting. Could they easily add one in the draft? Sure. So I want to be aggressive right now. I am removing all these running backs and I'm removing Stephon Diggs from my roster because I need to capitalize before they potentially lose all value.
Yeah, 100%. And you have to do that. I'd honestly too, like being super flex. What I'm hoping like one of those quarterbacks there too that can game on possibly is, his strongest position is Justin Herbert and and Trevor Lawrence. And listen, when you're blowing it up, man, you're blowing it up. So like you have to get your first back, and this is what sucks. Like you can't pull the pin on that grenade yet until you get your first back. Otherwise,
you have to get the first because everybody knows what you're doing then.
Yeah, so that's your first point. And then when you put it in contender mode, you have a couple teams here. Like the first, the number 2 team in contender mode, the Falcoholics. Unfortunately, there's no move I could see that's worth moving for a quarterback because they desperately need a quarterback. That's what sucks. So like they desperately need a quarterback, but there's no move. Like you can offer him Trevor Lawrence for Drake London, but then now you have a hole at quarterback, like you got to fill. Which again, if Shedeur Sanders is there, or if Jackson Dart lands up a good spot in the first, and Shedeur goes top 10, you can fill that hole with 1-5. So like, if that's a move, again, doesn't necessarily mean it could get done. But there's also another team in there at the 5th team there at Hey Darnold. They got Baker Mayfield and Bryce Young. Like I would offer him. I would love to see if I can offer him Trevor Lawrence, for Bryce Young and like, hey man, you really need a quarterback. Put yourself in a good spot. And
what picks does he have?
He has 1-8.
Ooh, so, okay. But he also has 226 first and
exactly
a 27 first. So he has some future assets he can maybe move as well.
Yeah. So like again, if once I get my 27 first back, and say that's the only one he can get for some reason, like the person who has his 26 first knows his team's terrible. They know what he's doing. It's going to be harder to get his 26 first back because again, they expect his 26 first to be really high. 27 farther out in the future, it's a much better class. It's my number 1 target. So like, and that being said, okay, like once I make that decision too, like, okay, I can't do much in 2026. Like now my focus is on 2027. Like I know it's a strong class. How can I build as much draft capital as I can to get in 27? Because that's where my rebuild is going to start. Your rebuild is going to start in 2027. That's where, unfortunately, that's this position you put yourself into. Because even these couple of draft picks you have in the first, they're not flipping your team around and they're not going to put you in position any term long term. Definitely have no draft capital in 26. So my strategies here is I'm focusing on 2027, which is a dominant class. Get my first back here right away, and then, hey, can I give you Trevor Lawrence for give me your 27? Give me Bryce Young, your 27 first, and like honestly, dude, I'm offering this team because if he wants to take a step forward anyways, this might be a good team. Hey, I'll give you Trevor Lawrence and T. Higgins. Give me 1-8, 2-1, a 26. Give me a 26 first, or even if you don't want 1-8, because you already have 2 firsts this year. Forget 1-8. Forget 1-8.
Yeah.
Give me Bryce Young. Give me your 26 first. Give me 2-1 and your 27 first, and I'll give you T. Higgins and Trevor Lawrence. Can you do you think you can get a little bit more on top of that, Garrett, or is it like, am I selling myself short here? But like,
so you're let me see. So you said a 26 first, a 27 first, 2-1. What else did you say?
And Bryce Young.
And Bryce Young for T and Trevor Lawrence. That seems about right. About right. And I wouldn't hate that move because now you're splitting assets, which you kind of have to do at this point. You have to split one asset into multiple assets to give you more bullets in that gun for that rebuild. So I would do that. And then I'm also seeing, like, can I pair Travis Etienne and Stephon Diggs? And, like, even if I wanted to move my, one of my picks this year, the second round pick that I have, or, whatever, like, can I pair some things together that are going to be more or less expiring assets, or assets that are not going to help me, into, an asset next year that can help me, or something like that. So yeah, I think we put this guy on the right track. Unfortunately, it is more of like a rebuild type of situation.
A massive rebuild, man. And listen, I'll say this too, because I might have a couple more things I want to say about his team before we go off his team.
Okay.
Is 112 is got to go. We mentioned T. Higgins, like that's got to go. Honestly, almost everything's got to go. Everything's got to go. Like if you want, I'm holding on to Marvin Harrison Jr. if I can, unless a right offer comes along. I'm holding on to Justin Herbert. Besides that, everything's really got to go. But even Justin Herbert, I'd be willing to flip for like a younger quarterback. That like if there's like who has like one of the good young quarterbacks now. That's
Michael
not
Penix, Bo Nix,
yeah, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams. If I can flip that for just a little bit more on top too, because again, you need to keep adding depth here, right? So like, yeah, is Justin Herbert and Caleb Williams, like, even if I can just get a little bit more on top, can I get Bo Nix and a first, right? But all that, again, is I'm really focusing on 27. I'm going to try and own that draft class. And if that class is as good as we think it is, just imagine if you had all the 24 class, right? You have a starting team that can compete if you own the 2024 draft class. But he has a couple. I think what I want to say here as well is to do that as well. I think Stephon Diggs, before he got hurt, he looked pretty good. He'll be the number one receiver in that New England offense and get peppered with targets. He will hold value in season. I personally think Jalen Wright is going to have a moment in season where he's going to hold some value. So same thing. You hope Travis Etienne can kind of get back there as well, but somebody's going to need a running back at some point, and you're getting Travis Etienne off. Your whole goal is like in season to move Travis Etienne because you can't move him now.
I would move him now. I think he's going to lose a ton of value.
You're not going to get anything for him.
I don't think you're going to get anything for him then if they add another running back.
If they had a running back, they picked up his 5th-year option. They got Tank Bigsby. I mean,
it's a new regime. It's a new GM, a new coaching
staff. It won't be
staff.
till later. Okay, fine, but like, what are you getting for Travis Etienne right now?
What would you get then? That's the thing. Like,
probably equal to be honest with you.
I would rather not take the risk of him losing a ton.
For
of
what?
value.
Like, what are you getting for Travis Etienne today? What do you get?
Second. I bet you could get a second.
2.7?
Sure, I would take it.
And I wouldn't. Why?
I would.
So you're getting.
I don't think you're going to get. I think there's a genuine possibility that he loses all value after the draft.
Okay, you know what? For where this team is, I would rather just go ahead and like. I am so like I need to do so much work. I am working harder here. I'm holding on to Travis Etienne, and I'm going to gamble. Right? Like, listen,
that's fine.
When your pockets are low, sometimes you're at the convenience store and you're like, "Wow, that scratch off, I can win $5 million. I only got $1 left. That's all right. I'm
not doing much with $1 anyway."
Right? Like again, like I think the upside on the weight on Travis Etienne is going to do me much better than 2.7. Because if I miss out on 2.7, I have probably an 18% chance of that being.
Well, I'm not even keeping 2.7. I'm just acquiring assets that are acquiring value, and then I'm moving 2.7 again. Like I'm just trying to keep snowballing value.
Because he does have multiple. Yeah, he has 2.2 as well. Like, yeah,
pair those together and move up, and then trade it for something else. Like I'm trying to start with a thumbtack and trade all the way up to the car. Like that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. So my advice personally is I'm focused on 27. My number one goal is got to get my 27 first back. Like you got to get your
we're at 100% agreement.
So
100%.
Unfortunately, you have a lot of work to do. But listen, that's why we have the dynasty. This is why we have the dynasty GM here to help like navigate these like these moves to kind of give these bird's eye views. We do the podcast. We write articles. Like, listen, man, this is not an easy task. And sometimes it's not easy and it's not a quick turnaround. And unfortunately for a team like this, it's not a quick turnaround. You're looking at about probably like 2 to 3 years here. And what's good is you have 3 first-round picks now, and everybody loves those. And what you got to do is you have to, again, people want to make dynasty trades, but they want to give up something, but they'll give up a lot to get back a lot. Like you have to give up the heat. You got to give it all up. Like all those picks are on the table for young assets in future capital because time's not now. Or you take the best player available and wait till their value even rises and you sell them, and you're moving all those players off your roster. All of them. They're all going to go except for Justin Herbert essentially and Marvin Harrison. And even those are on the table.
There we go. All right, let's move on. Hopefully we helped you out there. Derek, best of luck to you in your future endeavors.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Hit me up on Twitter. I like to know like how this this transpires. And I'm still like you nuked it. So like if you have any trade questions you want to hit me up on Twitter with, like I'll like, hey man, this is what we're at. Like if you want to further like go along with this, like I'll help. If you nuke it, you know, I'm gonna help. Not just on this show. Like I'm gonna stick around on Twitter. So I'm available to you.
We love success stories here.
Yeah, and like guess what, dude? I do this. Like the whole reason I study this game so much is like for this. I want to like help. So this team needs a lot of it. So I appreciate him. I want to help him out. He's a nerder. I gotta help him out.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll turn that around.
Next one up here, we've got Alex. Alex, he's got the team name WedgeBusters here. WedgeBusters. He is in a 16-team contract salary cap league. Now, I looked over some of these salary cap numbers before the show. Each league is a little bit different. Their salary cap is $255 million. And the top players in the league are usually getting roughly 10% of that total salary. That's roughly what they're getting. So just to kind of give a little bit of context, a little bit of idea of how this league works, that's kind of the basics of it. Also, rookie draft picks, you can get up to a 4-year contract that can be extended by 3 years. Plus, then you have a franchise tag possibility. So you could have these rookies for up to 8 years, which is an eternity in Dynasty Fantasy Football. So kind of gives you a little bit of things to know and understand. Currently, he has rookie picks 101, 110, 112, 209, and 314, as well as 3 first-round picks in 2027. So Dynasty value, he has the second team. He has the second-rated team in this league. Contender mode, though, we're down at 9th, which is middle of the road in a 16-team league. But here's the squad. Now, there are IDP aspects to this as well. A lot of those later round picks are going to be used on a lot of IDP guys, but we're going to focus mostly on the offensive side of things for this league. So, Pete, let's go back to our roster here and take a look. So, in this 16-team league, we have, and this is Superflex. No, this is 1 QB, right? It's got to be 1 QB, 16 teams. Okay. I was going to say that'd be tough. Justin Herbert starting quarterback. We got Jameis Winston backing him up. Another sighting of Travis Etienne at running back. We also have Raheem Mostert. Wide receivers, pretty good group here. Nico Collins, DJ Moore, Jalen Waddle, Josh Downs, Adam Thielen, Brock Bowers at tight end. And then let's switch back to Dynasty mode, Pete, and see the value of those picks because we have the 101 here, the 110, and the 112. So we've got some pretty good assets, but there is a couple teams that are going to be tougher to beat. Now, this team I think is pretty straightforward, Rich. Now, obviously, there's salary cap, there's strategy involved in that, but when you have a window in these salary cap leagues, you have to a lot like the NFL. When you have a cheap quarterback, you have to capitalize. You have to be able to go after it and go all in because now you have the money for a lot of other players. Similar type of thing here. If you hit on a rookie pick that's cheap, now you have a lot more money for the future. So this team here, I think, is fairly straightforward, Rich. You've got a legitimate quarterback, which doesn't matter as much, but with a 16 team, it still matters because there's still plenty of quarterbacks, if you're starting 16, that are not very good. we've got a really good wide receiver core, and we've got an elite tight end. So honestly, this one is pretty easy, I think, overall. Now, we can give you a couple different strategies, but honestly, I think it truly comes down to, hey, take Ashton Genty. At 110 or 112, take a running back you like. Cam Scatterboot comes to mind for me. I know you're a big Dylan Sampson guy. I like him as well. You have him 6, I have him 7.
I would just trade for a guy like the guy who's on the bottom at 11. Like, would you give 112 for Najee Harris?
Yeah, I would give 112 for Najee.
I went right down to the bottom team here to team 11 there, like bleeding green and gold. Like they have Najee Harris. You know, like that's somebody. Like I'd rather like once I have Ashton Genty on this team, like I want to get somebody who's going to get a lot of carries, like right off the gates. And I think Najee is going to fit that role pretty well. He's 11th ranked team. Looking at a lot of the other like bottom teams, a lot of them don't have James Conner. You probably get for even cheaper. He's on a team, the 14th ranked team.
I bet you could give the 2-9 and 314 maybe. Because with the IDP component, those picks hold a little bit more value.
Yeah, you're right.
You're still taking some of those guys. So I bet you could give 2-9 and 314 and get yourself a James Conner. So if you're boasting Genty, James Conner, and Najee Harris, plus with whatever running back you took with pick 110, now you're sitting at a spot where you're looking pretty dang good.
Yeah, I mean, you could be easy looking at you're probably looking at Ashton Genty, Cam Scatterboot, Travis Etienne, and then a running back James Conner Harris or Najee Harris right there.
And in a 16-team league, that is a stable. That's a good running back room in a 12 team. But in a 16, that's a freaking stable.
Because the receivers are fine. He's got the number 1 tight end. So, yeah, I mean, I'm using those all that draft capital. And again, that's what you're immediately doing in the league analyzer, right? Like, okay, I need a running back. What are the bottom teams that have running backs? What do I need to go out here? And like a lot, like that team who's in 14th place in the gym, like they should be trying to get James Conner off for the best offer they possibly can.
Rich, I would even with knowing that there's 3 picks in 2027 and knowing that I have a roster because he's solid on the IDP side. We're not going to talk a lot about that, but he's got a very solid team on the IDP side. He can use some other assets if he wants to, but I'm taking a look at those future 2027 picks. And even though those are appealing in a 16-team league, when you have a window to go get it, you go get it. Like it's so hard to win. On average, you're winning once every decade and a half. Like if you have a window, go exploit it. So I'm using those 27 first. And I'm saying, man, maybe I can do my 27 first and something and go get a high priced running back. Or I could add him to a Jalen Waddle's kind of a depressed value right now. But I could add him to a DJ Moore and get myself a second elite receiver or something like that. Like I'm utilizing these picks to put myself in the best spot to compete.
There's a team here that has Derrick Henry. That's the 12th ranked team. And they got Chris Godwin. Like I'm wondering,
like that's a good target.
Yeah. Can I offer like the second and 112, like a late pick for Derrick, or even 27, like can I get Derrick Henry and Chris Godwin on that team? Can I give a pick plus?
Give 112 and a 27 first, and they give you those 2 assets. And is there like a third asset there that we might like a Cooper Kupp maybe? So would you give a 112, 27 first, whichever one you think is going to be the latest, though it's so hard to project 3 years out. Would you give that for Chris Godwin, Cooper Kupp, and Derrick Henry?
Yeah, I would, but I don't think that person would.
You don't think so? Because they're in rebuild mode at this point, right?
No, I get it. But like, I mean, Cooper Kupp's such a gamble. The guy hasn't played a full season in a couple seasons right now. So like, I wouldn't give up more than that.
And he has the 3rd overall pick. This team does, but his next pick is not until the 3rd round in this draft. So he needs draft capital.
Hey, it's worth an offer. Yeah, because I'm really trying to propel my team up there. So I think that may possibly you're trying to get Cooper Kupp as an add-on for those 2 firsts, and maybe give up like one of the 3rd round picks, like you said, or
Sure.
I mean, even like I said, worst case, if I give up a 27 first, 112 and 2-9, if I get Cooper Kupp, Derrick Henry, and Chris Godwin, I'd do that because then I feel pretty good about winning the ship. Like, again, it's a 16 team league too. So it's a pretty good ship.
Oh yeah, that you're bragging about that hardcore. You win a 16 teamer. Those are tough leagues. So I think the general strategy is you take Ashton Genty, let him lead the way. What other either a older running back is available semi cheap, Najee Harris, Derrick Henry, James Conner type of category that can get you another year or two inside this window. And then using our other draft capital to upgrade positions.
Yeah.
Do I take him, add him to another player to upgrade that spot? Maybe sprinkle in a little more depth at running back. But I think right now, those are all like garnishes on the plate. The big thing is I need to add another running back to Ashton Genty and with whoever I have at 110. I need to add one more running back. And then I need to sprinkle in either an upgrade or I need to sprinkle in like a little bit of depth somewhere. But that's it. Like this team's in a great spot.
Yeah, he really is. And and when you're in those spots, you're just really trying to push yourself over the edge, right? And trying to add the capital and use those draft picks to your advantage, right? Like remember, like you're not relying on rookies when you're contender mode. You're looking for the Derrick Henrys, you're looking for the Chris Godwins, the upsides of a potential Cooper Kupp. Even a guy like a Stephon Diggs upside is like ringing your bell if he's a little bit cheaper. Like they're like you are like the draft picks should be out the window at that point because all your number one focus there is not on rookies that are coming in. It's just win that championship and everything else is second after that point.
Yep, absolutely. So anything else we're seeing here? I think, obviously contracts play into this. Make sure the money works. You're going to have to work around some of the contracts to make sure all that works. But assuming you can make the money work, I think this is a pretty solid plan. And then use some of those later picks, even trade another 27 first if you have to make sure those IDP players are solid because you hate losing on the IDP side of things. So make sure that you still have a solid unit, even with doing all that. But I think if you spice up this offensive side, you're going to be in a spot to succeed.
Yeah, spice it up with that solid unit.
Spicy. All right. We're going to head to our next roster rescue. Let's go ahead. I know, Pete, we're still waiting to hear back from our guy, Frank. Frank, make sure you email Pete so that way we can get the information we need on your roster. So we're going to head on over to Brett. Brett, this is the Big Money League. Big Money League. Big money, no whammies. This is a super flex tight end premium league. His team is ST Pilots 98, right? Is that his team?
No, that's just his sleeper username. I have that in the
10,000 days.
It's 10,000 days. Yep.
10,000 days. Okay, Superflex tight end premium. Here's what we're looking at here. We've got Jaden. Oh, you're scrolling too fast for me. Jaden Daniels, Justin Fields at the quarterback spot. Running back wise, we have Saquon Barkley, Tyjae Spears, and nothing else. At wide receiver, we've got Jay Jettas, T. Higgins, Ricky Pearsall, Rashid Shaheed, Josh Downs. And then at tight end, we have Hunter Henry and Jatavian Sanders. This team has the 109 this year and nothing until 402, but they do have their own 26 first and 27 first. So all of that being said, Rich, right now in contender mode, we are middle of the road. So we are kind of trying to decide what direction we're headed. Dynasty mode, total assets wise, we are only in 8th, but that contender is what's really important right now, asset. But we don't have a second quarterback. How much? Well, we do for the moment, Justin Fields, but we don't have a second quarterback with security, I should say.
I'm blowing this team up.
You're blowing it up.
Yeah,
all right.
When I'm looking at the other teams ahead of him, I don't think he has a legit chance to win. 1-9 is not going to do him anything here. I mean, you're going to get you got one running back essentially in Saquon Barkley. I like Tyjae Spears. You like Tyjae Spears, but that's it. You essentially got one running back. Saquon Barkley's coming off such an amazing year. He's got such high value. He's skyrocketed up. Justin Fields just signed that contract. He holds some value for you too. And T. Higgins just signed his contract. So you're you're in perfect position to blow this team up. I'm totally entertained in trading Justin Jefferson away as well, but like I'm willing to hold on to him because he's still young enough and pair him with Jaden Daniels. And this isn't like needs to be a complete blow up, but you have no tight end whatsoever. You probably get a really good tight end there at 1.9. I am looking to take T. Higgins, Saquon Barkley, and Justin Fields, and I'm trying to kick this can down the road and put my team in the best position possible to compete in 2027. So, like, obviously with Saquon, like, how do I get back into this draft and get another, like replace him with a rookie running back plus and get some future capital here. T. Higgins, I would just like to get younger at receiver with a higher upside than T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins is an eternal best case wide receiver 2, which is great if he's your wide receiver 3, but he's your wide receiver 2. You already got the upside of a guy like Ricky Pearsall who could easily beat T. Higgins in my eyes.
Sure.
There. So you already have that. You have Josh Downs. You have Rashid Shaheed there. So you're okay with those guys. So like I'm looking at guys who are going to be a best return. I think Justin Fields, like now the con here of flipping Justin Fields is now you only have one quarterback. Like that's the con there. So like you'd want to think like, hey, can I move Saquon Barkley for draft capital and another with Justin Fields and a quarterback?
Is that terrible right now, though? Because you do have your 26th first, and you do want to be one of the lower, like you want the best possible draft asset. So if you only have to start one quarterback each week, is that totally a bad thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's not totally. Yeah, you want your first. It's not totally bad, but like eventually you're still getting another quarterback.
You will. But next year, the only thing right now that it looks like they have next year is
quarterbacks. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, like you're trying to put yourself in a higher pick to get that other quarterback to offset them. So I'm immediately like, okay, which one of these contenders like needs a quarterback? And I'm going right to like in contender mode team 4, which is football is life. They got Matt Stafford and Kirk Cousins. And then they got James Conner, Najee Harris. They don't need a running back, but with CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, and Debo, like they're in win now mode, right? They're in win now mode. Oh, they have no 25 draft capital. Son of a bitch. That's fine though. I would love so this guy is in win now mode, right? That team 4, football is life. Justin Fields just signed that contract with his run upside. This team is old. So you gotta remember this too. Like, when you're making dynasty trades, you never want to trade a contender like for their next year's first. Like, what's the point? It's going to be probably a late first. You want to go 2 years out. It doesn't even matter. In this year, it works out perfect because 27 is a strong class. Because by the time 27 hits, this team is not good anymore. Like, most likely. Their quarterbacks are old. What can I give? Can I give him can I get what kind of second round picks? Can I give him? I would honestly offer this team like my 27 third and Justin Fields for their 27 first. That's an offer I'd make that team. Football's like, because they need another quarterback.
It looks like real quick, we might be experiencing some technical difficulties. We might need everyone to refresh their page real quick. Sounds like a couple people have done it and coming back works. So we're not quite sure what the technical difficulty is. Saying they're not really able to hear us.
We're bigger than YouTube, but we're breaking it. So
we're breaking it. We're doing too well. They hate us for it.
That makes no sense. Why would refreshing the page work for everyone?
Yep, it's literally worked for every person. So if you can hear me, refresh your page. All right, let's keep it moving. So all of that being said, Rich, Saquon Barkley is the guy that's really going to stir the drink because we're probably not trading Justin Jefferson unless we're getting a true king's ransom, right?
Yeah.
Like we're not looking to move him. Always willing to listen.
I would offer Justin Jefferson for Malik Neighbors. And like, can I get like a little something on top?
Yeah, I think I would want the extra. Like I would want
I want the extra. Yeah, I want a little extra, but not again, just a little extra. But again, if I'm going to move
like
Justin Jefferson,
201 do it for you?
Yeah, it would.
Okay.
This team, this team needs a little bit more depth. Like it's not going anywhere right now. And like I said, by the time he's going to go compete with those top 2 teams, like Saquon's going to be 30 years old. So it's like,
Right.
and you only have one running back. So like you want to capitalize now. Again, you just have to be realistic with your dynasty teams, right? Like,
Yep.
when can I compete for a ship? And it's not this year. And it's with 1-9, it's probably not next year either. Like, and you can't do that. Like with a team like this, you just can't like, okay, my first this year, my first next year. Cause then all of a sudden that's how you get stuck in the middle, because now all of a sudden Saquon's 30, you know what I mean? Like it's the easiest way to get stuck in the middle when you don't make these drastic moves, because you're always trying, okay, I have my first next year, but then your first next year doesn't do you anything. Now, I guess you could say opposite Garrett. Can he trade his first next year and have 1-9 and then try and get back into, like, he doesn't have much capital on top of that to give into to get another running back this year and hope Justin Fields does what Justin Fields does when he's a starter, which is
you say you're basically saying if you wanted to go the opposite route and say, screw it, I want to be a contender this year.
I don't recommend it at all, though.
I wouldn't recommend it either.
No, I don't at all.
Like
teams,
it's your team. You at the end of the day, you have to do what you want to do with your team.
But I want everybody to look at the screen here. Everybody look at the screen and look at this team. I can see people thinking, what I'm saying here is I can see people thinking that, but in Dynasty, this is right here is the kind of team that puts you in a bad spot.
Because it's 3 guys basically carrying all the weight. It's Jaden Daniels, Saquon Barkley, Justin Jefferson. They're carrying all the weight, and they have to all have all pro seasons to even have a prayer.
And it will like Justin, like listen, T. Higgins is and Ricky Pearsall. Ricky Pearsall is like a wide receiver, like low end 2 or a high or like a wide receiver 3. T. Higgins wide receiver 2. Justin Jefferson wide receiver 1 overall. Saquon's wide receiver running back 1 overall, and Jaden Daniels is quarterback 1 overall. Those 3 guys in a dynasty league will carry you to the playoffs. Why? Yep. Because you have to remember that in dynasty, teams are trying to lose. Teams are tanking. So it's going to naturally push you to the middle.
3 teams every year typically that are like, yeah, I'm out of it.
That are real bad. So like that automatically is going to push you up a little bit higher. So teams in dynasty leagues like artificially make the playoffs, right? And they think they're okay. And they see their team like Jane Daniels. I got Saquon. Like I just need this team. Can like, oh, Justin Fields just signed that contract. When he plays, he's a quarterback 1 with his rushing upside. I just need another running back. When in reality, you're gonna get another running back. If you don't get you can't get hurt at all. You'll probably be 1 and done in the playoffs. Best case you might win a game in the playoffs. Probably not. And then you're done. And then you're another year into it. You have another late round, first round pick in a weak class. That's going to give you a player that, again, if you make the playoffs, you win a game, you have pick 9 through 12. Historically, you have a 50-50 chance of that player being rosterable. Like these late round picks are not that valuable. Don't get spoiled with these last couple of classes. Definitely don't compare 2024 to anything because it's an all-time class. But this roster right here, what you're looking at, is the king of rosters that like get you stuck in the middle. Because you have, like you said, those 3 shiny objects. They're going to take you away from everything. And where's he at in contender mode? Right in the middle, Garrett. Team number 6. Where's he at in dynasty mode? Let me flip it here on my end in dynasty mode. 8th. So even worse in the middle, a little bit lower. So when you're in that, like when you have these prime players like that just are in the news, Saquon coming off a big, massive running back 1 year and T. Higgins with that contract, you got to move because you got to figure out how do I get out of the middle. And doing that is you need more depth. You need more depth. And even 1-9, like I would trade because honestly, from 1-9 to like 112, there's not a huge difference. There's there that somebody loves. Like I'll take, you know what? Give me 111.
Unless Shador keeps falling like we've seen in a couple of drafts, that one would make sense for this team.
Even Jackson Dart, like what I would do is like, oh, can I move back? Like you need another quarterback. And say Jackson Dart goes into first to Pittsburgh, just hypothetical, right? I like Jackson Dart. Like, okay, can I move from 1-9 to 111 and get whatever I can on top and then just take Jackson Dart here and then keep pushing it forward, move T. Higgins for more capital, get Saquon Barkley. For a future class. Like this team has got to get blown up in my eyes to ever have a chance in the future. And right now he's got some really good pieces that give him a lot of like either young assets or young assets plus draft capital to do that, put him in position because his core would still be good. He's got the number 1 dynasty quarterback in my eyes, and he's got arguably the number 1 receiver. him or Jamar Chase. So, and that's why too, like, Justin Jefferson's what, 26 years old?
Yes, I believe so.
So he's still good. He's still good enough to, when you're ready to compete in about 2 years, to get you where you need to be. But that's why I'd also be like real interested in flipping Justin Jefferson for Malik Neighbors, right?
Yeah, get a little bit younger there.
Get a little bit younger to reset. So when I'm ready to compete, I still have one of those elite receivers. So, like you said, can I get 2-1? Is that enough? Yeah, that's enough for me, because that's going to give me probably a pretty good tight end, and he doesn't have any good tight ends on his roster. So
would you be willing to go even maybe a little bit lower right now, at least, and gamble a little bit on Marvin Harrison Jr., but now instead of 2-1, now you're getting like a legitimate first?
Oh, and I get like a real good first with
Marvin Harrison.
I mean, it depends. I mean, in that situation, the person who has that high first had to have traded for that, because most people in rebuild mode aren't going to do that, right? Like,
sure. Like, what team has him? I'm
first.
just out of curiosity. Which team has Marvin Harrison Jr.?
See, and for me, Garrett, like, for a guy like Justin Jefferson, like, I'm not in the gambling mood. Like, I don't want, like, I get same thing. Like, if you're getting
second overall team,
the second overall team, that could get it done. Like, would you do hypothetically, because this team I'm sure would love to have Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
they're the second team. Would you do Justin Jefferson for Marvin Harrison to? Nope, it's gone.
No,
right.
I was just switching it to contender mode to make sure that they're
gotcha
second contender.
So to Marvin Harrison and a 26. Well, we could even do 27 first and something else. Like, would you consider something like that? If the Malik Neighbors guy's like, nah, I'm good. Like, would you
on this
consider
team,
something like that?
I would consider giving Justin Jefferson for Marvin Harrison, Jalen Wright, and his 27 first. Give me the upside young running back, who the Dolphins traded a 3rd round pick this year for. Marvin Harrison, who's got upside, still a gamble,
on this team?
and 27 first. He's only got 2 tight ends. He's not trading on Sam Laporta and Chig. So
okay,
I would entertain that, but same thing. Like, again, like, say, like, where people are like, for that team, like, if I'm trying to flip it, like, yeah, you're taking Marvin Harrison, Jalen Wright, and a 27 first. Like, you're taking all the risks for Justin Jefferson. Like, I would just rather see if I, again, not saying you can get it, but like, I would just rather see if I can get Malik Neighbors, right? Like so
for sure.
I feel way more confident about.
For sure.
And I feel good.
I just don't know how many
Harrison
people
Jr.
will give you much of a plus. That's what I don't.
That's the thing for that trade for a guy like Justin Jefferson in that scenario. I don't need that much of a plus, because I'm that confident in Malik Neighbors. You know what I mean?
What if he was only like, I'm only giving you 3-1? That's all I'll give you.
I would still consider it, because listen, because I just want to make sure, like, when I'm ready to flip it around, like, I still have those really good young assets. So, like,
right,
in 3 years, Malik Neighbors is gonna be 24. Justin Jefferson is gonna be 29. You know what I mean? Like, right. So it's like you have to. So that kind of falls in the category of, like, Garrett, like, oh, I don't want to lose this trade. But, like, are we trying to win trades, or are we trying to win championships? If this team's not willing to, like, ready to win a championship for a couple of years, Justin Jefferson might not, like, again, will Justin Jefferson be good at 29? For sure.
Yeah.
But, like, you're trying to open a multi-year window to win a ship too. So, like, sometimes, like, you have to be willing to lose a trade slightly. And I'm not talking about, like, bend over, no lube, but you got to be willing to lose a trade slightly to better your dynasty team. Again, you're not trying to win Twitter over, right? You're not trying to win a league poll. Like, too many people play that way. Like, they'll put a trade out there, definitely in the vacuum, like, oh, all you got was Malik Neighbors and 3-1 for Justin Jefferson. Well, guess what? The tier between them isn't that different to me. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, I'm trying to set my team up to be the best possible dynasty team I can be. If I can't win now, and I don't think I can win next year, then I'm offsetting that with the years. I want the 21-year-old stud in Malik Neighbors. You know, if I can't get Malik Neighbors, he's too high. Can I get Brian Thomas a little bit more? I'll do that one too. You know what I mean? Can I get Brian Thomas and more? So I'm tackling those guys, right? Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr. Which one of those younger guys can I flip for Justin Jefferson? And who can I get the most on top of? That's
Right.
That's the deal right there, is who I can get the most on top of. Because like, again, when you're blowing up for this team, you're getting rid of Saquon and you're trying to, the goal is to get more assets. You're also trying to get a little bit younger. So listen, every team is its own ecosystem, and you have to handle it individually. And again, the goal is, like kind of we said at the beginning of the show, is like, what do I have to do to put this team in the best position to win a championship? And sometimes that position might not be until 2027. So when you have that 2-year goal, it's like, okay, what is my team going to look like in 2027? Like, do you want a 29-year-old Justin Jefferson? Yeah, everybody does. Or would you rather have a 24-year-old Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas?
Sure.
Like, which one gives you the best position to win then? And in case, listen, you can't have this plan like, okay, I'm going to win in 2027. Like, nothing goes according to plan, but you want to have at least like the back door ajar for the quick escape. So when you have a guy like a Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas who's still young, that still leaves the door open to still make that same Justin Jefferson trade you just made now to keep swinging the bat. Because eventually, if you're in the league, which is this, you're in the league, you keep swinging the bat, you're going to hit a home run. Okay. I saw Miles Straw hit a home run. I see Austin Hedges hit a home run. Okay. It's possible. People could dream.
For what it's worth, those are obscure Cleveland Indians / Guardian players.
Yes. So like, thinking of that, like the back door is the youth, right? So like, okay, flipping Justin Jefferson from Malik Neighbors, even call it straight up. Say all you can get is 3-1, which is almost pretty much straight up. Yeah, you slightly lose that trade slightly, which is even guaranteed because Malik Neighbors come out here with Jameis Winston and be wide receiver 1 overall this year. So you might even
Russell
win
Wilson.
Whoever, yeah, douche canoe. But you know what I mean? Like even that saying,
I just
like,
wanted you to have to say it.
There's no guarantee that Justin Jefferson is going to outscore Malik Neighbors this year. It's not guaranteed. None of that's guaranteed. So like, what's the best back ace in your pocket? It's youth and dynasty with young guys. So like when I'm pivoting here, like I'm willing to lose a trade like that just to get younger as well. And then you still have Saquon. Saquon's going to be the one that gets you the draft picks and younger running
multiple
backs.
first. Yep.
So like if I'm thinking 2 years out, like, okay, if I'm going to do that, like I want to pivot off Justin Jefferson. Again, this is saying we're going to move Justin Jefferson is the point here, which I want to do because I'm thinking ahead. Like I want to do that as well right now. Why Justin Jefferson is, no matter what, right now, Justin Jefferson in a lot of people's eyes is wide receiver 2 overall in Dynasty, right? A lot of people have Jamar Chase. Some people will still have JJ Jets as 1. So you want to capitalize on that, right? Like you're trying to, like the stock market, sell high, buy low, sell high, buy low. So at the end of it, your portfolio is massive so you can retire. And right now, when we're talking about blowing this team up, right? Everything is on the table here. Outside of Jane Daniels, of course, he's not. Some people are untouchable, and usually it's a young quarterback, and that's usually just about it. And he has to be like top 3. So for me, if I can flip Justin Jefferson, get Malik Neighbors, that's a good step. Now I have T. Higgins in my back pocket and Saquon Barkley now to help to build around Malik Neighbors. So now instead of building around Justin Jefferson, I'm building around a 21-year-old, and I feel way more comfortable saying that in rebuild mode compared to a 26-year-old.
All right, next up here we have roster rescue for Frank the Tank. This is the Dynasty League. Half-point PPR IDP entering year 5 in Dynasty. He's already won it twice. Made it to the big dance again.
Big sexy.
All right, 2 out of 5, or actually 2 out of 4 if this is year 5. But he couldn't pull off the back-to-back last year. So once again, we don't do as much with the IDP, but overall he has good IDP stuff. So looking at his roster, we've got Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, then the upside third quarterback in Anthony Richardson, running backs, Jahmyr Gibbs, Devon Achane, Jonathan Taylor, Travis Etienne, Jalen Wright, wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb, Drake London, AJ Brown, Romo Dunze, Jerry Jeudy. And then at tight end, we've got Trey McBride, Jonnu Smith, Cole Kmet. Woo! Now, we do not have
no advice needed.
Yeah, this team is
freaking
great.
Yeah, this is you ride this team. There's nothing you need to do with this team. You ride this team. This is, know what you do with this team? You take your 26 first when the time is right and you add depth to it. That's what you do. You trade away your 26 first.
Here's what I will say.
We're
not doing as much with the IDP, but take a strong look at your IDP because we don't pull that up here. But take a strong look at your IDP. You trade your future assets to make sure that is as solid as your offense, because that's the thing that could trip you up. Like if your defense is not as solid as your offense, and look, all the scoring settings are different in these leagues. Some leagues sacks are worth 2 points, other leagues are worth 4 points. Like you have to be a master of understanding your league point scoring settings in IDP. If you're not a master at that, you will get slipped up and you will get passed up. But you being a 2-time champ, almost a 3-time champ, my guess is you know what you're doing on the IDP side. But I would not be playing around and saying like, oh, I think a position is good enough. There is a small chance that I could slightly see a scenario where I'd be a little bit worried at quarterback. Like if I'm being nitpicky.
And definitely look at the team that's number 1. They're pretty good.
What's the contender mode looking like here?
The first team, they got Pat Mahomes, Caleb Williams, Bijan, Bucky, Christian McCaffrey, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Jackson Smith and Jigba.
And because this team is, which team is this? Lynch Mob?
Oh yeah,
third in Contender has the quarterbacks also.
But look at this team: Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Bryce Young.
See,
So would you be interested in trading Richardson for Bryce Young straight up?
Oh, if I could, yeah, I would sell Anthony
because they're back to back.
Yeah, 100% if I could.
I would be willing to do that. It's tough to trade one contender to another contender, but I mean, look at this team's wide receiver core: Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Mike Evans,
Devontae Adams is going to eat in LA.
Devonta Smith, then Hawkinson and Njoku as well. So that's the thing that I'm saying about this team is like, if there is potentially the smallest of gaps on this team, it is at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Is there a team like what does team 10 have? Like they have some quarterbacks there. You got Joe Burrow. He's really just kind of all the team has. Like this whole team is just Joe Burrow basically. Could I pair one of my quarterbacks?
Kyler Murray in your 26th first for Joe Burrow.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was just going to say. Yeah. Could I pair one of my quarterbacks and a first to maybe upgrade and make me feel like I have another point or two per game? Because that's all it is. Joe Burrow's giving you another point or two per game. It goes from 18 points to 20 points or 19 to 21. But you also have what is a very, very good offense with a terrible defense for the Bengals. And they have not changed that, which is fantasy football gold.
He's got James Conner. So can I get James Conner and Joe Burrow for Kyler Murray in my first and second next year? Because remember, like when you're a team like that, you're a contender. Like I've been playing Dynasty for 22 years, and when I'm a contender and I'm like a legit contender, like top 3 teams like he is, I do not want my first round pick on my roster. It's too valuable in what it can get you in a veteran, like a 2-year window veteran, or like you said, Garrett, like an upgrade. Like, can I do that? Can I upgrade? Like my first has got to go. Like I'm not interested in pick 112, rookie pick 112, or rookie pick 111. Like I'm not interested in that. Like I'm interested in like put myself in a better position to win. So like my picks are going to be fluid. And like for this, like you said, if you can take Kyler Murray and upgrade to, or even Dak, anybody. I mean, obviously that team wouldn't want Dak. He's probably a little bit too old.
Rather Murray.
Yeah, I'm trying to upgrade. Like, and then you know what? But maybe at one point I'll need a running back, and I need to save that first for a running back later on. Like, but at some point, like I'm trying to, my first is off my roster to give me just a little bit more of an edge against those 2 other teams. But it's a good team overall.
I'm with you on trying to add Connor. Because if one of those running backs goes down, ETN is not what he used to be. All of a sudden, we're thin if one of those big 3 goes down. So I want, on a contender, I want that 4th running back to just make me feel a little bit better.
A little bit better. Yeah. I mean, you want it. And sometimes, like when you're a championship contender, like now, like some of these older veterans, that like honestly, I think the best time to go, they're going to go grab those running backs, those older veterans, is going to be after the NFL draft because there's so many good running backs. And we mentioned this last show, like a lot of these running backs aren't going to be fantasy relevant. Like guys like Damian Martinez, Managai, like it could be, but like odds are they're not. But like these guys might get good draft capital, like 4th round draft capital, where like some of these veterans' value is going to be depleted slightly after the NFL draft.
Rich, would you? I just thought of this, and I would love this if the guy's willing to do that. What if I just turn straight up Travis Etienne into James Conner? Like, do that before the draft because James Conner feels like a pretty safe guy for the NFL draft where Etienne doesn't. But Etienne's younger with more upside. So that team might say, like, well, at least I'm getting younger here. Like, I would love to turn Etienne into James Conner on a contender.
Yeah.
So
I would offer even I wonder if you go to team 9 in contender mode there. Where's that? Team 9 meh. Like I wonder for my 26 first and like a little something on top, could I get Matt Stafford and Alvin Kamara?
That could work.
Add me a little bit of depth at quarterback there in Kamara. That's another move.
Maybe
I'm trying
throw
to make
Richardson to this team as well to like balance it out.
Exactly. Offer your 26 first and Anthony Richardson and get Matt Stafford back and Kamara.
I like that deal a lot.
That'd be a good move too, because now you have a guy who could be a top 6 fantasy football running back in Kamara, and you have a guy who has the upside to be a top 6, probably not top 6, but who's going to be a quarterback 1. Give you some depth in case Kyler Murray goes down. You know what I mean? Because like Kyler Murray or Dak even goes down. So like I would like to get a little depth there too, and that's what you're trying to do too. Like sometimes like when you're a contender, like you're trying to make little moves like that, just like in case something happens. Like I want to buy now, like a little bit cheaper now,
because once somebody goes down on your team, now all of a sudden the price for everybody goes up.
Yeah, I like that move. Stafford and Kamara for Anthony Richardson in my 26 first.
I like it.
I think
so. One question. This sounds terrible when I say it out loud. But for that quarterback, no, you look great.
Oh, thanks so much.
You look at that quarterback 3 spot. When I'm competing, I want a floor. Like if one of my guys go down. So what about Team 10 had Geno Smith? If that trade with Stafford didn't go through, Anthony Richardson for Geno Smith.
Oh no! I mean, I want a floor, but I don't want a doormat. Geno Smith on the Raiders? Yeah, no thanks, dude.
Okay. I mean, Geno's going to be the starter this year.
Okay.
But why? He's better than Anthony, dude.
Yeah, but you're not the thing is, like, you're not starting Geno Smith. Like, he's an insurance thing, anyways. Like, the
upside's not there.
I'd rather I want to do something I could potentially put in my lineup, or like I feel comfortable putting my if you're starting Geno Smith, odds are you're not going to beat those other 3 teams. Like Stafford, at least say that the key move there was get Alvin Kamara. Stafford's just a depth piece, and you're unloading a sinking asset in Anthony Richardson. If you flip Anthony Richardson to Geno Smith, you just have 2 sinking assets right now. Like there's no At that point, I'd rather just go ahead and gamble on that Geno Smith or Anthony Richardson somehow turns it around and brings back those his first two games as a rookie, the Russian upside there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not Geno Smith doesn't move the needle. Like if I can get James Conner thrown in, if I get Geno Smith and James Conner for Anthony Richardson, I'm interested there. But I would just rather aim a little bit higher. And Kamara is just a goat. So anytime I get a goat in there and clean my lawn and get that trash cleaned up, get in there and start gobble.
Stafford and Richardson have top 6 weeks potentially. Yeah, Geno Smith is going to be top 14 weeks. Okay, on to the next
roster rescue for Tristan. Let's move on to him. Frank, this was Frank, right? Yeah, Frank.
Yep.
Best of luck to you, my guy. All right. We've got Tristan's team here. This is a 1 QB PPR, no tight end premium. So 1 quarterback, no tight end premium. Some people in this league have really wild valuations. So sometimes what makes sense. What?
Sorry, this was for another league, but this league, which is what the league that Tristan wants, it's actually a tight end premium 2 quarterback league.
Listen,
So
you
you
guys
lied
got
to
to talk
me.
about this. We've been going for an hour and a half, and hold on. I'm in hour 30 of a 72-hour fast, so I've just been pounding water.
Oh boy.
So Dynasty Rich has got a tinkle.
All right.
Oh,
Hey,
you don't have a bucket? I have a bucket right here.
The bucket's overflowing onto my rug.
Oh.
I have a catheter.
Nasty.
You don't have a shop vac? What
All
dry
right, yeah,
vac?
go pee.
I'll
Go
be on
pee.
a short
We got
sleeve.
you. All right.
Okay.
All right. So recapping, you lied to me. So what do we actually
Clutch
have
email by Tristan, by the way. He just emailed me because he said one of these 2 leagues, and so I picked this one.
And he was like, "Don't pick that one."
So it is a Superflex tight end premium league.
Superflex tight end premium. Can we change the little graphic at the bottom there? to
Yeah.
Tristan's? And all right, so Superflex tight end premium. We've got Jared Goff, Russell Wilson, and Kirk Cousins. So only one starting quarterback at the moment. We've got
Russell Wilson?
Kenneth. Huh?
Russell Wilson's the starting quarterback, isn't he?
One starter-ish, 1.5.
Okay.
I mean, he hasn't won the job yet. I would
He
assume
got
he's
paid
the
way
starter.
more money though.
He got paid more. I don't know if I would say $10.5 million is way more, but he definitely got paid more.
To me, it is.
So we have.
Oh, Rich! Did you just fall? Someone call Life Alert.
I fell down and I can't get up.
All
right.
It's got wheels on it.
Running backs wise, we've got Kenneth Walker, Josh Jacobs, Chuba Hubbard, Najee Harris, Ramondre Stevenson. Wide receivers, we've got Xavier Worthy, Josh Downs, Jacoby Myers, Darnell Mooney. Tight ends, we've got Sam Laporta. And picks wise, we've got 104 and 109. In dynasty mode, we are in 10th. Contender mode, we are also in 10th. No, we're in 11th.
The double ones. First
we dropped
pace
down a spot.
twice.
So, with that being said, wait, did the wide receivers switch? Did I read all those? Man, I just read them and didn't realize.
This Rich
How bad they were.
threw me off so much. I don't remember what happened in the last 3 minutes.
All right, so this one's pretty easy.
Even wash my hands.
This one's pretty easy, Tristan. So let's go back to dynasty mode here. Dynasty mode here. We only truly have one quarterback that you have any sort of confidence in. You have one.
Oh, who's Russ hater now?
We have.
That's who he's talking about.
It's true. Wide receivers, we have nobody that we have any sort of real confidence in. Xavier Worthy to some extent, but we don't have anybody there that we have any real confidence in. So right now, I think you've got to, I think this is very simplistic overall. You have 4 running backs that all still hold pretty good value. And you have 2 other guys in Ramondre and JK that could maybe hold value. We'll see. Very simple here. I am literally taking my entire roster because it says, Rich, it says 1 QB. It's actually, this is Superflex tight end premium. So I'm taking every asset on this team. Jared Goff, Russell Wilson, Kenneth Walker, Josh Jacobs, Chuba Hubbard, Najee Harris, all of my receivers, anybody that wants any of them. Even Sam Laporta, who I like. I like Sam Laporta. I am taking every asset on this team and I'm burning it to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I'm burning it to the ground. I am trading it for future assets. I'm trading it for players that are a little safer. I'm like every fire sale, everything must go. Like, Rich, do you disagree?
No, if you're gonna blow it up, you don't blow something up with a firecracker. Like, you get the TNT, and you put it all around the foundation, and then you light the fuse. Like, you blow it up, and you get as much capital as you can, and you start a rebuild with an abundance of picks and youth, and you hope they all pan out. Or that one team that was so good, they had Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, they're all rookies for 24 class. Like, it's possible. Like, those are kind of swings you want to take. And unfortunately, the 26 class, like you said, is not as strong. So, like, you got to be smart about it. What you do, but like, yeah, when you blow it up, like, you blow it up. Everybody goes. Everybody goes. Like, you give yourself the season. You're looking for those peak windows, but yeah, you got to blow it up. That's a team that needs blown up. There's no like diddle daddling, like, oh, I'll sell this player. Like, hey, ho, everybody has got to go, man.
The one thing that helps on this rebuild is, one, Jared Goff holds a good amount of value. Sam Laporta, you could trade them in tandem. People love getting stacks. Getting stacks. So you could trade them potentially in tandem in a tight end premium. He's going to hold a lot of value. But your running backs, where I would typically be pretty worried, yes, all of these guys could potentially have a rookie added. But those top 4 highlighted guys are teams that are less likely, I would say, to add a running back. The Seahawks have 2 guys already. They don't really need somebody else. Could they add somebody? Sure, but I don't think it's going to be anybody of super big consequence. Josh Jacobs has the contract. They took a running back last year in Marshawn Lloyd in the 3rd. I don't think they're prime to take an early running back. Chuba Hubbard, they took a running back last year in the 2nd round, and they added Rico Dowdle.
And they just gave Chuba an extension.
They just gave him an extension. Najee Harris is the new guy in town, just got a solid contract. Could the Chargers add somebody? Sure, but he's the one of that group that, like, maybe I could see trading him before the draft just in case they add somebody to Najee. In case somebody thinks he's a standalone running back, but you could easily sit back and they don't add anybody of consequence and you're just fine. So really the only running backs of note on this team that hold significant risk are Ramondre and J.K. Dobbins, but everybody knows that you're not going to get anything for them.
Yeah. And just, like I said, blow it up, offer somebody like who's in contender mode, like immediately, like who I'm putting this thing in contender mode. Who needs running backs like right away?
Team 3 badly.
Yeah,
they need running backs so bad.
Yeah, so he's got 1.5. Oh, he's got 1.5 and 1.2. He's like, I'm just going to draft those guys.
But still, 2 is not enough. 2 running backs that are rookies are not enough.
Yeah, and know what I would do? Like, he's the kind of team too. Like, I would love to throw him like my lowest running back that I have graded for, like, it probably wouldn't work, but like his 26 first, because if any of his rookie running backs like don't pan out whatsoever, he's gonna have a decent pick.
And honestly, this team could really like you a lot, because Brock Purdy and Bo Nix, they're fine, but like he could be interested in Jared Goff. He's definitely going to be interested in your running backs.
Who's this tight end?
He has a ton of receivers. Like maybe a depressed value asset like a Rashee Rice right now might be a good guy to target on a rebuild. Like that's somebody that you could trade some running backs for that people are lower on because he's coming off an injury.
Yeah, like I wonder if you throw him like Sam Laporta, Jared Goff, and like Najee Harris, and can you and even like throw in Ramondre Stevenson for more running back depth, and can you get Dalton Kincaid, Rashee Rice, and Brock Purdy?
I mean, you could try. You could try. I know you love Dalton Kincaid. I'm not prioritizing getting any non-elite tight end at this point.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, if you're moving, like, I'm just saying if you're
upside.
Moving, yeah, for the upside. I mean, if you're blowing it up, Garrett, like at least you're getting another young tight end back that has a first round pedigree. The move's not for Dalton Cage to just get another tight end back, so you have to like fill the draft hole. Like the move would be to like get Brock Purdy, who's probably going to sign. He's about to sign a 5-year, $250 million deal. So can I move Jared Goff, get a little bit younger for the 25-year-old Brock Purdy, and get Rashee Rice? Like that's the move. So like I'm giving up the running back. I'm giving him Najee Harris. I'm giving him Sam Laporta and Jared Goff. So he's getting a Jared Goff, Sam Laporta stack. He's immediately thinking, I'm getting an elite tight end, which he's getting a really good tight end. So which is his weakest position here outside of running back. He needs a tight end. So he's going to get Sam Laporta. He's getting rid of Dalton Cade, which he's happy to do because 2 years of doing nothing. He's getting Sam Laporta. He's getting a stack of Jared Goff. He knows he's losing slightly on the Brock Purdy trade and the Jared Goff. Meanwhile, you're getting younger by 5 years with Brock Purdy, and then you're getting Rashee Rice essentially for Najee Harris.
And then you can still move some of his future assets, future picks for those running backs, because that's what he needs the most from you is your running backs.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, you might be able to throw, and then on top of that, like, hey, give me your 27 first, and I'll give you, like give him Najee Harris and like Kenneth Walker. Even though I wouldn't trade Kenneth Walker quite yet, because I think in season his values.
I think you'll get more value from him in season. I agree.
Yeah, in season, as long as his hernia holds up. But like, I can't remember his other running backs who they were.
But just a 27 first for Najee, I'd be fine with that. I think that's a fair deal.
Yeah, but if I'm blowing up, I think this is a good team that, like you said, you could package it with. Like, I get younger with Brock Purdy. I can get I swap Kincaid and Laporta, which is fine, but I'm getting Rashee Rice is like the big, like that's a big move there, and the 27 first.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, Tristan, I think this one is one of the more straightforward ones. Look at teams that could use some running backs.
Yeah,
we highlighted a couple there. Look at teams that need running backs. Maybe somebody that would love the Goff Laporta stack. Get some depressed value assets if you wanted to add receivers, because we're not going to get a lot this year or next year at receiver. So some depressed assets that could gain value. Rashee Rice is one. Jalen Waddle's another one. Like, those types of guys are really good ads because they still have some youth, but they're going to help you in a couple years.
And I think Najee and Chuba will both be better in season trades, because I think their numbers will support that a little bit more in season compared to what you would get now. You know,
and I think Josh Jacobs could fetch you a first and a second, most likely.
Yeah, I mean, Chuba's probably going to look pretty damn good in season from numbers wise, staying healthy. I think Najee too, depending on what they do at their running back 2 position. I mean, Najee is going to look damn good in that Greg Roman offense. So
nice.
He's in position to really kind of capitalize in season.
All right, we've got 2 more roster rescues. Let's go to my guy, Marcel. Marcel is in the Nerd Herd 2.0 league, Rich. In the Nerd Herd 2.0 league.
I know Marcel very well.
He's like, he wants you to talk about his team.
So he said, Garret, he said, did he pay for this?
Yes.
That son of a bitch.
Rich, I'm giving you the floor.
He sent me, okay, so here we go. So this is a league. Marcel's team. Marcel's team
gamesmanship. I love
Marcel's team was really bad, and he blew it up, and he did an unbelievable job with this team. I am currently the back-to-back champion in this league. Look at my team. You wouldn't look at Marcel's team, right? Look at that team. Look at that team.
It's nuts.
It's good.
It's nuts.
I've won this league back-to-back years. Like, I don't even know where's my team even on there. Where am I at on this? Go
What's the name of your team?
Should be Dynasty Rich.
Oh, there it is. 11?
Now Contender mode, it's probably different.
Yeah, come on, Pete. You're talking to a back-to-back champ in this league.
Oh wow, 6th. Wow.
Hey, GM, do a better job of evaluating. Marcel's team is so sexy.
Your rankings run the GM.
Marcel's team is Selena Gomez, and I'm Benny Blanco, right? That's what's going on here. But I'm coming out on top. I'm the back-to-back champ here. So this is a team where I desperately need a receiver in this team, I think. Yeah, I really need a receiver. So his offer, I'm sure. Do you know his question or no? Is there no question?
No, he just wants you. He doesn't have a question.
Okay.
He literally just wants you to evaluate his team and give your opinion.
Listen, this is a team where also
this is
Marcel,
an ultimate troll. I love this power.
In his rebuild mode too. Like, look at this. So you have Justin Fields, and he has Justin Herbert. I traded him Justin Herbert for Justin Fields after his rookie year.
Oof.
because I had so many Justin Herbert shares. I think I got something else on top. I got something else on top, and I was like, you know what? I want a Justin Fields share. Let me go ahead and get it. But Marcel's team, but again, it kind of shows you though, man, like once you get into playoffs, like you have to try and make a move. So I made a move for Aaron Rodgers in that league. I can't remember what I gave up. I made a move for Aaron Rodgers, who's playing well fantasy wise. Like he's averaging over, I can't remember. And what did it do? It gave me a chance to win against Marcel's team 2 years in a row. That team is unbelievable. He's done a fantastic job. But it goes to show you, like even in like redraft, even in dynasty, your team could look like Marcel's. Get off my team. It's like the Bucky Irvin pick, baby. You have a team like this, like that. Look at his team.
So many quarterback assets. That's wild.
And you still can't win the championship. Why? Because you have people like Dynasty Rich in the way. He told me.
So look at this.
So
team,
he
though.
offered me
Herbert.
Josh. He offered me Josh Downs. Is this the team with Josh Downs? Go down. Does he have Josh Downs? Okay.
Yep.
So here's what he wanted me to talk. He sent me a message beforehand because I declined to trade right before the show. He's like, "Oh, you can talk about it on the show," and I'm like, "No." And he's like,
"Yes, you will. I'm paying for it."
Yes, he will. What he wants to know. I'm going to tell you exactly why he did this. What he wants. Look, he's got Brock Bowers, Marcel. This team's so good. He wants to trade.
Really freaking good team.
I desperately need a receiver. Right, it's receiver 3. He's offering me Josh Downs and his 27-second for my 26 first and 27 third.
Nah.
Yeah, I told him no.
Nah.
See, Marcel?
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. If I were you, Rich, I would not do it. I get why Marcel wants to do it. Capitalize on the Josh Downs hype.
Oh,
but the problem is
once Marcel gets focused in, he's a nagger. Like he's
relentless.
He's like, come on, dude. What do you think? Come on. You got it. Come on. Let's make this like over. Like he's gonna keep going in on it. But look what it does. Look what it gets you. Like what I love about Marcel and what he's so great for so many leagues, even though he just left a lot of leagues that I'm in this year, but he didn't leave this league. Surprise, surprise. Is like it works. Like being Marcel's a very aggressive dynasty player. Like he's gonna go out there and make moves, and I love it, because this is the outcome. Like when you do it right, this is what you end up with. And Marcel in this league particularly did it beautifully. He made the right trades at the right times, and it all worked out to get him second place back-to-back years.
If I had one like small tiny thing that I would say, because he paid for it, so I'll give him a little something.
Yeah, give him a little something.
He has an exorbitant amount of tight ends and wide receivers that have 0% chance of starting. What I would be doing is I am cutting all of those players. I am cutting Peyton Hendershot, Josh Oliver, Drew Sample. I'm cutting all of those, but like 4 guys. Like I'm cutting all of them, and I am filling up my running back room because I also don't need Terrace Marshall, Cedric Wilson, Kevin Austin. Cut those guys.
It's 30-man rosters.
What's that?
It's 30-man rosters with 2-year taxi squads. The waiver wire is very thin if that's what you're going with.
But even if it's very thin, I would rather 0 value running backs or 0 value quarterbacks than I would 0 value receivers or tight ends.
There, do you want me to give him some advice on that team? What he's doing? And this is why he hasn't won a championship. See, here's the thing with Marcel too, though. Marcel, like, he's also somebody though that like he falls in something I don't like to do is like he has to try and win a trade, right? Like he does not want to lose a trade value wise. And with a team like that, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Like the quarterbacks that he has and the receivers that he has, there's no way he's got good running backs, but they're old. Marcel should be like looking to move 2 of those quarterbacks, 1 of those tight ends, and 2 of those receivers, and really like how he does not have Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs does not make sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why he hasn't won. Because, like, obviously Christian McCaffrey got hurt last year.
So you're saying he should overpay for one of those guys?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, Marcel doesn't like to lose trades. Like, he won't make it, even though it's going to make his team significantly better, he won't lose this trade. If I have this team, if I have Marcel's team, I am 100% going to lose a trade for Bijan or, like, Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Like, I'm making that owner
Or
an
Barkley?
offer. He can't refuse. Like, or Saquon Barkley. Like, I'm going to overpay because, like, I think Marcel is going to be real happy with the roster he's got here. But listen, in 2 years, this roster has not won him a championship. Last year, he came in third, actually. He didn't even come in second. He came in second the year before that when I beat him. He didn't even make it because Joe Mixon died in the playoffs in week 17 and week 16, and Christian McCaffrey was hurt. So he was left with, like, James Cook was fine and Derrick Henry, but, like, even then, like, he's got a good running back stable. But, like, why with those assets, Marcel, are you not moving all in for, like, to make this the best team of all time and, like, just put together the best starting lineup? And look at he's got rookie picks down there too they could throw in. Like,
yeah, he's got 105 and 110.
Yeah, so you're gonna gamble, like, you're gonna gamble on some rookie. What rookie picks you're gonna, like, any rookie pick you draft is gonna be another guy buried on the depth of your roster, except for a running back who might hit that might start over those running backs. Like for me, he's like, in this league, he needs to, like, go get those guys. Go get Saquon Barkley. Go get Ashton Genty. Go get Jahmyr Gibbs, or go get Bijan Robinson. Like, that's my number one priority there, 100%. And I'm willing to overpay where somebody on X or somebody's going to say, oh, in our league, he'll have Baltimore, like, oh, you know, laughing at him. But, like, at the end of the year, if he wins the ship, who cares? And he's got the depth to do it where, like, he's not even cut himself short. You know what I mean? Like, if you gave up those quarterbacks, you gave up Drake May. If you gave Drake May in 1-5 and something on top, and you got Jahmyr.
It's hilarious. In contender mode, if he were to literally cut every quarterback off of his roster, just straight cut them, he would still have the highest value in the league. That's absurd.
That's crazy. Yeah.
What would you give up for Saquon Barkley?
I would give
I would pair, like, Drake May and James Cook and see, like, where we're at there.
Yep.
Would you do that, Rich? Would you take that offer?
Oh, do I have Saquon?
Yeah.
I need a receiver mostly, but I would take, I mean, Drake, I would, at that point, I'd probably be willing to blow. You know what? I was trying to get Garrett Wilson off at one point, and he wasn't willing to do it. And, like, he's not even starting Garrett Wilson, like, for that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's the thing. It's like, you're not even starting these guys. Would I consider Drake May and James Cook? I would probably consider, because I do need a quarterback.
You need a quarterback, and your
close.
RB3 is J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, so I definitely need a receiver pretty bad in that league, and I'm trying to get a receiver. But yeah, like, Saquon should be definitely 100%. Somebody he should be trying to get off my roster. You know what I mean? Like, 100%. And I'm totally willing. I'm a back-to-back champ. I want to blow that team up. Like, he should be knocking on my door. Like, yeah, James Cook and Drake May. That's an opportunity, Marcel. Let's talk. I'm sure
Drake.
I'm sure he's sending trades as we speak.
Let me
Drake
see.
May and Ricky Pearsall.
Let me see.
Would you do that? Drake May and Ricky Pearsall.
Wait, hold on.
Did he send a trade?
No, he's sending me a message. It was 2 hours ago, though. Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk, Marcel.
Marcel, well done. That was an awesome flex. Great job on your part to make Rich have to talk about your team live on the air.
You know what he does? No, here's an example. I told him I don't want to give, like, Josh Downs, and this is what he thinks is going to be a difference maker. Like, when I first declined it for the second, he offers a fourth. Nobody offered on top of that second and third for the first. He thinks going to make a difference.
Oh, we got an offer. Rich. 105 and 110 for Barkley.
105 and 110 for
That's
Barkley.
not bad.
That's not bad, Marcel.
That's Travion Henderson.
He said it. It's there.
Good. Well done, Marcel. I like this guy.
That could be Ted McMillan and like a
Give me 1.5 and Drake May, and I'll make it happen. See, it's an overpay. See,
live on show.
it's an overpay,
A
but
live
again,
trade.
you're never gonna start Drake May. Never. You're never gonna start Drake May.
Never say never.
Or
All
throw in JJ McCarthy, and I'll give you something else on top of Saquon. We'll talk off the air. It's pretty.
I would love for the trade to happen live. That would be amazing.
I know,
let's get to more.
But why am I giving up the number one fantasy football running back? Again, for 1.5 is a good upside guy, and then a gamble at 110. Like 110 is like a 50-50 shot. You know what I mean? Like
Take it off the air.
at 1.5, I have but when people offer those trades, like 1.5, I have to take 1.5. I gotta take a running back. I have to replace Barkley with them. So it's like that's just like I automatically lose that trade part. So I'm really getting is the 110 guy. So I'm getting like Colston Loveland, maybe, or Ted McMillan. You know, okay.
I don't think Tet's going to be there, but Burden maybe, Mecca Buka, Cam Scadaboo. We'll see. Last one here. Roster rescue for Sean. This is Chubs Crew. Chubs Crew. This is 0.5 tight end premium. Says I have an offer out for Njoku in 207, and I would give up Hawk in a 27 fifth. Is that a good idea? Should I move up to 208 to the early second? Any other roster ideas that we might have? So right now, this team is in third place in dynasty mode. What about contender mode? Pete, where are we at in contender mode? In second. So this is a team right in the thick of it. Right in the thick of it. Let's go back to dynasty mode here. Quarterback-wise, we have Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson. Running backs, Bijan, Bucky, Derrick Henry, and Tyler Algier. Wide receivers, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Romo Dunze, Xavier Worthy, Michael Pittman Jr., Mike Evans, Demario Douglas. Tight ends, TJ Hawkinson, Kyle Pitts, Jake Ferguson, Chigo Conquo. We have the 101 this year. We also have the 208. We do not have our first, though, in 2026, and we have somebody else's first in 2027. Rich is trying to make a trade. He didn't hear anything that just happened, but let me break this down for you. Right away, we see this team. This is a team that is a true legit contender. This is a true legit contender, and they're going to be adding Ashton Genty to the mix. So running back wise, Pete, can you scroll up a tiny bit? Running back, that's about to be Ashton Genty along with Bijan, Bucky, and Henry. Like, that's a crew. That is a stable right there. Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud at quarterback. I don't love CJ Stroud. I think he's a little bit of an overvalued asset personally, but we can get to that in a second if we got the time. We've got a plethora of wide receivers. And the big question is, what does he want to do at tight end? He's thinking of giving up Hawk in 207. Giving up Hawk for Njoku in 207. Here's the thing for me. You are a team right now that is in the driver's seat. You are with Ashton Genty. This will put you as one of, if not the top team in the league. I am not trying to downgrade my starting lineup. And nothing against David Njoku. David Njoku's a fine player. But on a contending team, I feel much better with a TJ Hawkinson than I do a David Njoku. And I still have Kyle Pitts as an upside play. So I am not moving off of TJ Hawkinson. If anything, if I'm doing anything at tight end, I'm trying to take TJ Hawkinson and turn him into Trey McBride or Brock Bowers. Like, if anything, I'm trying to improve my starting lineup. So I don't want to move back. I don't want to mess with that. Now, this roster has a lot of wide receivers. Pete, how many wide receivers do we have here? We've got, go ahead and put that up big again for me. Right now we have Jamar Chase and we've got Amon-Ra. They're starting each and every week. And you have 3 starting spots. Right now, Mike Evans is your other guy. So you also have Rome, Xavier Worthy, Michael Pittman. Who does team 4 have at tight end? Because they got a lot of tight ends here. They've got Sam Laporta and Jonnu Smith. Where's Brock and Trey McBride? Let's find those guys. Okay, so Brock's on that team. Is Trey McBride on team 2? Yep, he's on team 2. So yeah, you're not getting either one of those guys. They're not going to move off of them. So right now, I think you stay put. I don't think you go after TJ Hawk, or you don't trade TJ Hawkinson. You stay put there with Hawkinson. I don't want.
It's weird that the ranked 10th team is wanting to trade away a draft pick and Njoku for Hawkinson. To me,
I guess they think, well, this is dynasty mode, contender mode. They might be trying to give it one last run. Yeah, I bet they're ranked a lot higher. What team is this?
Let's see, Super Bowl Browns, 8th.
Okay. Well, it's a 10-team league. That makes more sense. I was like, that doesn't look like a terrible roster, but it's a 10-team league. So that makes more sense. Yeah. Rich, I don't know about you, but I'm not moving Hawkinson. If anything, I'm looking to improve my starting lineup a little bit. So if anything, I would try to be upgrading TJ Hawkinson to a McBride or Powers. Doesn't look like that's possible. Those are on the other 2 contending teams. But I might also be looking at, can I improve my QB2? Because I'm not all in on CJ Stroud. I think he's an overvalued asset right now. Rich, would you be willing to take a CJ Stroud? Because we're about to add Ashton Genty to this roster. They have the 101. So we're about to add Ashton Genty. Would you take CJ Stroud plus one of our receivers? We've got, or maybe Kyle Pitts. He's our backup tight end. And maybe get a quarterback that you think maybe has a little bit of a higher ceiling in 2025.
Yeah, I would, because I think CJ Stroud could get you that. So I'm with you. I've said a ton on the show where like I'm willing to totally like flip CJ Stroud to like upgrade my quarterback position. Like, can I get Caleb Williams? Yeah.
Yep. Higher ceiling at least.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, Stroud still has like that upside as well. So it's not like it's a terrible like.
But I would love to change CJ Stroud plus to get me Justin Herbert. To get me, like what is some of these other lower tier teams? Who do they have? Is there a Jalen Hurts is out there? That's a big upgrade. What are a couple other guys out here? No, nothing there. What does Team 10 have? Who do they have again? No. Mahomes maybe, but I'm not as sold. Is Lamar on Team 6? Lamar's another one I could see. Can I turn CJ Stroud into either Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, or who was the other one I said? Justin Herbert. Like, can I turn him into one of those 3 players by adding Kyle Pitts and maybe who are our receivers again? We've got a pretty good plethora of receivers, and Michael Pittman or Xavier Worthy. Like, can I take CJ Stroud, Xavier Worthy, and Kyle Pitts and make that Jalen Hurts? Like, I think that team might be interested in that kind of move.
Yeah, I think so. It's possible. I mean, CJ Stroud, he's a name that holds a lot of weight, who's just a quarterback too. So I would 100% try.
Yep. Because I think that's really all you really need. Like, you don't want to get rid of TJ Hawkinson. You're not getting a better tight end in this league. And your running backs are set once you add Genty. You have 4 legit running backs. Your receivers or top end guys are legit. So really, it's just, can I make TJ Hawkinson better? Nope, probably not. So let's make CJ Stroud a little bit better and give myself the best possible starting lineup. I think that's the move.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I agree.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps up our roster rescue show, our first evening roster rescue show, our first one with our guy Dynasty Rich here tonight. Had a lot of fun. Really appreciate you guys hanging out with us, giving us your rosters. Rich, anything you want to tell the good folks before we get out of here?
No, this has been exhausting. And
a lot.
I'm probably going to go back, continuing negotiating with Marcel, since he had that strong offer of opening the door with 1.5 and 110. But no, a lot of fun. I like I like doing stuff like this because like it brings you into like those ecosystems of leagues because that's where it matters, right? It's so hard to discuss trades in a vacuum outside, like on Twitter and stuff, because it's hard to see where you stand. Kind of go back to Marcel's team, like we're saying, like, hey, we all three said, hey, you should overpay for a running back because your team would be significantly better. And sometimes you have like, hey, you should lose this trade because you're going to get younger and get a little bit more on top because it's going to be better for your team. So like the biggest thing when you say like when for roster rescue, I'll say this closing as my first show is like the way I'm always going to look at things is saying what's our goal to rescue our roster? It's like to win a ship. And how do I do that? It's about focusing on just making your team better. And how do you go about doing that? It's not about winning trades. It's about winning ships. I'll say that over and over again. You know, when you're in these windows, like when you're a contender, you shouldn't have many first round picks if you can. If you're trying to win, you're trying to win now. When you're rebuilding, you want as much youth and draft picks as possible. And sometimes when you say things, it's real easy for people in the background to go, oh yeah, way to go, Dynasty expert. But sometimes in Dynasty, definitely in 2025, like not when I used to start, sometimes the chalk gets lost, right? Like the simple things to think about get lost and they fall by the wayside. But sometimes it's a very simple process. It really is. But like with all this stuff and all this information and Twitter and websites and videos and metrics and breakout years and all this information, it's so easy to get lost in it. And it's just really like, it's a simple game. Who to buy, who to sell, who to draft. That's the three things you're focused on in Dynasty Fantasy Football. If you could figure out those things and execute those three things at the right times, eventually, at some point, it's all going to come together and you're going to be a Dynasty Fantasy Football champion.
I love it. Cody, Brian, Marcel, Josh, all you guys, appreciate you guys watching. We love bringing the extra content. Pete, any last words before we're out of here? No stories this time.
Nope. Let's go to sleep, everyone.
All right. Yeah. We'll see you guys Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern time with the next roster rescue show.